Hey guys, how are you all doing? I hope you're all well. Welcome to another FPL video. Today we have lots of things to talk about. First I wanna talk about GW21 and how my team will look for that game week, but also I wanna talk about the potential double game week 22, also the blank game week 25, and my plans for those game weeks and for the future. So thank you for watching and let's get right into it. Before we look at Game 21, let's just quickly see where my team is at the moment. So for Game 20, I currently have 54 points. So it's a 58 minus 4 because of the hit that I took, so 54. And my overall rank right now is 58k. After subs it goes down to about 60k overall, so I'm happy with my rank. At the start of the game week I was at 74k I believe, so it's a 15k places green arrow. So we have 2 more games left in this game week and I have a decent cover up in both of those games. So I think my rank at the end of game 20, hopefully it will be a green arrow. I'm not very worried about the Man United game. There are not really that many players from that game that can hurt my rank. The only possible thing that can happen that would mean a red arrow for me this game week is a potential Man City clean sheet. That's the one thing I'm hoping won't happen. So I would like a Harry Kane goal against Man City, that's for sure, but other than that I should end up on a green arrow at the end of game week 20. If we look at the team, there are actually a lot of returns this week from different players, and Mitoma, let's just start with him. I'm very happy that I got him for this game week. He was very unlucky to only get an assist in this game. He could have had a huge haul, but that haul ended at the end at his teammate Solly March playing on the other wing. But I'm very happy to have Mitoma. I still believe that he is the better player to have long term. I think Solly March has a purple patch at the moment, he is in form, but over the whole season I believe Mitoma is the better player and will provide more points in the future. So I'm very happy to have him in my team at the moment. De Bruyne, he got an assist in the first game, and yesterday there were some news that he's potentially injured because he didn't train on Tuesday I believe, but since then Pep said that he is fit and that he's very likely to play in the game against Spurs, so I'm not worried about him either. And the real winners so far this game week are the Rashford captainers. So Rashford scored a goal in that game and is currently 8 points in front of Haaland, who blanked and only got 2 points. So the people that went for a Rashford captain should be getting huge green arrows this week. Now I did consider going for it as well, but the effective ownership of Haaland meant that I pretty much have to go with him as a captain, because if he did haul and I didn't captain him, it would have been a huge red arrow for me, down to probably 200,000 or 300,000. So that's the reason why I went with him for a captain. And also I have Havertz first bench, and he scored a goal for Chelsea. He scored the only goal that Chelsea scored in that game. So I did go with Ben White instead of him in my starting team, and Ben White got 8 points, so it's a correct decision. I'm hoping that Laporte doesn't get picked against Spurs, once again, and then potentially I will get the Havertz points from my bench. Now let's look at the team for gameweek 21. For this gameweek, I assume most of you are in the same position as me, so I assume not a lot of you have any saved transfers. Probably we all used our transfers in gameweek 20, so we should all have one transfer for gameweek 21. Now the best thing to do, in my opinion, for this gameweek is to make sure we save that transfer for gameweek 22, and I'm gonna try my best to do so. So unless I hear that there is some injured player, so De Bruyne was a problem, but right now I'm hopeful he isn't, and unless some other player gets injured, I will most likely save my transfer for this game week and go with the team that I have right now, because in game week 22 it's becoming very likely that we will have a double game week for Man United and Leeds. The only thing that can change that at the moment is if one of those teams have to play a replay in their FA Cup game, which looks unlikely because they both have easy teams to play against from the lower divisions. So I think that double game week is going to happen, and I'm already planning for it. So my plan for game week 21, like I said, is to roll the transfer, hopefully, and then I would have two transfers for game week 22, where I can look to bring in a Man United player and hopefully a Leeds player as well. So the players I'm looking to transfer out are Laporte, he's the first player, then Kai Havertz, I'm looking to transfer him out as well to free up some funds, and then in the Pereira place I'm planning to get in an Arsenal midfielder for their double game week in 23, and the midfielder that I want to get from Arsenal is Martin Odegaard. So to get him I have to downgrade these two players to free up some funds, and that's the plan for me. So I'm looking at cheap players mostly from Man United and Leeds for their double game week that can fill in the gaps in my team. So I would like to get Rodrigo from Leeds. I think he's the best pick, but unfortunately I can't fit him in my team, so I have to look for some other alternatives. And if we go to the Leeds team, if we go to the strikers, so Bamford is a striker, but he's been very injury prone this season and he misses lots of games. And one player that I'm looking at, and I didn't know he was a striker in the game, I thought he was a midfielder, is Wilfred Gnonto. So he's only 5 million, and since the World Cup break he seems to be starting every game for Leeds, and he's probably their second best player after Rodrigo. So if we look here, after the World Cup from game week 17 he started all 4 games. He's only scored 1 goal, but he looks dangerous in these games. He creates lots of chances, and every time I watched Leeds, he looked like probably the best player on the field. So for the price of only 5 million, I am thinking about bringing him in for the double game week. That would allow me to get Martin Odegaard in the midfield as well for game week 23, and I also have enough money to pretty much get any defender that I want. So that defender could be a Man United defender, and if Diogo Dalot was fit, he would be the player most likely that I would get for Game Week 22. With his absence, maybe Varane, he is a certain starter for now. Maybe he is the choice to go to. If not a defender, then I could possibly go for a 1 week punt in Game Week 22 for a Man United midfielder. Unfortunately, I can't afford Bruno Fernandes, so it would have to be either Eriksen or maybe Anthony for my team. And if I get one of those two players, it would be only for Game Week 22, and then Game Week 23 it would be straight Anthony or Eriksen out for Martin Odegaard. And that's my plan for the next couple of game weeks. So Game Week 21 probably no transfers, Game Week 22 one Leeds and one Man United player, and then Game Week 23 one Arsenal player. That's the plans that I have right now. Brighton, they are definitely the team in form in the league at the moment, so attacking wise at least, they are probably the best team together with Arsenal. I would be looking to bring at least one or two more Brighton players, but the problem with them at the moment is the fact that they will most likely blank in Game Week 25. So this fixture against Newcastle will most likely not happen, and that's the reason why I think I'm happy with only having Mitoma right now, and not going for March or Ferguson as well. Now, probably the best play that I would suggest some of you consider is if you have your free hit chip available, I would go for a lot of Brighton, Man United players in your team, also Newcastle as well, and possibly Ivan Toney in attack, and all of these four teams will very likely blank in Game Week 25. So I would load up on their players, and then in Game Week 21 I would use my free hit chip to get a 1 week team without all of these players, and then have them back in Game Week 26. That sounds like a great plan, but unfortunately I already used my free hit, so I don't have it, so I can't go that route. But I think that's a great game plan, and I would suggest you at least consider that for Game Week 25. Keep in mind, Game Week 28 is also going to be a blank game week. So yeah, like I said, Game Week 25, the four teams that are blanking are Man United, Newcastle, Brighton and Brentford. So keep that in mind when you are transferring in players from those teams. Now, for Game Week 21, I believe my captain will be Haaland. I still trust that he is the best option to captain week in, week out. Now, if he blanks against Spurs, it's going to be interesting because a lot of more people are going to go for a differential captain. People will go for Harry Kane, for example, for this week, or maybe, okay, Man United have a hard fixture, but a lot of Man United fans will probably go for a Rashford captain. But I will very likely still go for Haaland in this week against Wolves. Surely at some point he's going to get his form back, but if he doesn't do that, then that makes FPL even more interesting. So hopefully, maybe actually the best thing is that he keeps blanking, and the game will possibly become interesting with that. So yeah, that's my plans for GW21, GW22 and beyond. Hopefully this was helpful for some of you guys as well. Now we have 2 more games tonight and tomorrow, so we never know what will happen. Maybe some other player gets injured from Man United or from Man City. So I will give you guys my final team for GW21 probably Friday night. So the deadline is Saturday morning. And yeah, I will give you my final team either Friday night or Saturday morning for GW21, and I will update you guys on any changes that might happen until then. So yeah, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it, and good luck to all of you in GW21. Peace.